Mister, where you go? Where you go? You go airport อ่ะ You go airport I take you climax ดีกว่า No airport climax ดีกว่าอ่ะ100 บาทสวัสดีครับ I'm Stuart J. Raj and welcome to this I forget how many we've done so far, but today we are doing Taxi Thai, our ThaiBites live webinar. Thank you to all those hundreds of people that have registered, and we're doing this webinar from our amazing taxi here. You like it? It's right sitting in my in my office here. But anyway, we're going to be going through a whole lot of fun stuff today. You ask a lot of people, oh, how's your Thai? Do you speak Thai? Oh yeah, I only speak Taxi Thai. And I've heard that so much. I'm thinking, what is Taxi Thai? Do you really speak Taxi Thai? Do you know what Taxi Thai really is? What do Thais use when they're taking taxis or public transport or anything like that? So what I thought we would put together today is a fun lesson to show you, one, what Thais really use when they're taking taxi and public transport and motorbikes, how to start to think about transport like a Thai and get some of the language going so that when you do take that taxi, you'll be treated probably less like the Falang tourist and more like a local, and hopefully with the goal of making a much nicer public transport experience. Now I tell you, these days the taxis are, I don't know what's happened over the past couple of years, but they seem to be getting worse and worse. I see some websites coming up, but you always have to be careful with the language. So in this webinar today, we're going to be looking at what kind of Thai you should be using to have that good relationship with the taxi driver, and so he doesn't get angry at you, you don't have any trouble, and you can get to your destination quickly. Now, I think we can, I'm actually going to turn off the, look at this, I've got a sunroof. Are you ready? Woo! There we go. I'm popping out the top of the taxi. I'm going to turn my taxi facade off for the moment with the magic of television. Woo! There we go. And I'll come into the front here now so we can run this lesson. So let me start sharing my screen with you. I've prepared this lesson for you. For those people, I hope that you have received your lesson already, as well as the video lesson that I had prepared for you. Now, you would have seen a bunch of words and vocab there on it. So what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be looking at, first of all, metered taxis. And how can you increase the odds of not getting ripped off when you get into a cab? Then we're going to do a bit of key vocab to tell how the taxi, you know, where to go, not to tell them where to go like that, that could be dangerous, but tell them where you're wanting to go and then how to get there. And then we'll also be looking what a ride is actually worth. And that's specifically for if you're not in a metered taxi, or you're, say, in a motorbike taxi, how you can calculate the ride, what it's going to cost you as a local would. And then I've also got some language tricks for you to show you how you can pay the right non-metered price. So for example, if you're going on a motorcycle taxi, or you're in a new place that you didn't know the price, how do you know and how do you pay that real price without being ripped off? So we're ready? Let's get into it. The first thing that I think to, and some taxis will not take Thais, especially in the Sukhumvit area in Bangkok. I was down there a couple of nights ago, and we were down there and we were trying to get a cab, and there was my mother-in-law with me asking, oh, would you, can you go to this place? And I was standing down there, and they were saying, oh, is he going with you? No. And the taxi just drove off. What's that all about? So there are some real holes right now in the taxi scene. But I find that the best experience is when you get rid of that tourist facade and you can get on much more of a level kind of Thai footing with them. And so let's look at this vocabulary. Are you free? So the base sentence for are you free, because right nowadays, before you could just go and jump in a cab and then they'd start driving, then you tell them where you're going. But now you're going to ask, are they free? And they will ask you the next question, you know, to pai nai, where are you going? And then there's this whole negotiation that goes on. So to ask, are you free? The base word is wang, to be free. Okay, so this word wang means free. Are you free? Wang หรือเปล่าครับ and if you're a lady, so this is krap for the guys, ka for the girls. Now let's just make it a rule of thumb. When you hear me say krap, anytime you hear me say krap, as a lady you would say ka. Okay, so don't copy my krap. And this will go for all of the sentences I use now and in the future as well. So if you're a lady, use ka. If you're a guy, use krap. So wang, to be free or vacant. So ว่างหรือเปล่าครับ ว่างหรือเปล่าครับ so are you free or not? But when you hear Thai speak, and that was in some of the exercises that I gave you on the sheet at home, you would hear Thai say ว่างหรือเปล่าครับ ว่างหรือเปล่าครับ instead of หรือเปล่า ว่างหรือเปล่าครับ so you notice how this หรือ with a rising tone, we'll even hear it's gone to a high tone. And then really in real life, if you're just talking to a cab, you'd say ว่างปะครับ 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 can you say that with me? ว่างปะครับ ว่างปะครับ my tongue almost makes the but it doesn't sound it out, and then it just jumps into the ba from bao or not. ว่างปะครับ ว่างปะครับ and then the taxi driver, I can almost guarantee the next words that they would say is จะไปไหน okay, so จะไปไหน, where are you going? So ว่างปะครับ ว่างปะครับ this is probably what you'll hear most Thais say when they ask the taxi. If they stop and they say, okay, they'll take you, whether you're sitting in the car or before you get in, you probably want to say this. But means to open or to turn on, this word here. So เปิดมิเตอร์ด้วยครับ or here I've got นะครับ. We did particles last week, so that can be thrown in to make it sound more natural. เปิดมิเตอร์ด้วยนะครับ. And you notice that I have this ช่วย ช่วย literally means to help, but here we've got it meaning please. And so ช่วย is an extra polite particle that you would add on to that to make it sound more polite. So you can say use the meter, okay, that would be เปิดมิเตอร์ด้วยนะครับ. But if you wanted to say, oh, could you please use the meter? ช่วยเปิดมิเตอร์ด้วยนะครับ. 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 Could you please use the meter? But you say you just started driving and you saw that he might have forgotten to put the meter on. You could just say in a nice casual voice, พี่เปิดมิเตอร์ด้วยนะครับ. And they'd say, โอ้ลืม I forgot. Okay, so เปิดมิเตอร์ด้วยนะครับพี่. And you can throw those little, and you see down here, to make it sound even more natural, Thais will tend to throw in these little words like พี่ พี่น้อง well, you wouldn't call them น้อง, but เปิดมิเตอร์ด้วยนะครับพี่. Okay, so turn the meter on to พี่ or เปิดมิเตอร์ด้วยนะพี่ครับ. Sometimes you'll hear the P coming before that. That's given that they're probably older than you or you're respecting them. Okay, so we've got the two key words that you want to get into a taxi, and it's more than just asking if they're free. If you said to a cab driver, ว่างปะครับ, they know you're not a tourist, and then they'll probably know that I can't rip this guy off with the price. I'll probably have to use the meter, and so if they're not going to take you to just drive off, and you probably wouldn't have wanted to get in there anyway. But if you say ว่างปะครับ, and then they'll say ไปไหน, they would probably be expecting to use the meter because of the way you're saying it, and they would expect to use it with a Thai. You very rarely hear a taxi trying to negotiate a non-metered price with a Thai, unless it's probably around Sukhumvit Soi 11 or something like that. And it's late when all the clubs are finishing. Let's have a look next at some of these ways then. Once you're in the cab, or they're saying ไปไหน, where are you going? Don't expect a taxi driver to know an address. If you give them an actual address, so supposing it's like number 57 Sukhumvit Soi 18, the taxi driver won't know that. You would just say that you were going, so So if I want to go somewhere, you just use this word by, okay, by, and wherever it is you're going. You wouldn't say by to the actual address. So if it was number 51 Sukhumvit 18, I wouldn't say by เลขที่51ถนนสุขุมวิทซอย18. They say, huh? I would just say by Sukhumvitซอย18. Go to Sukhumvit 18. And then we make it from there. If you give an address, it's just going to confuse things. So Thais will, I don't think I've ever heard anyone give an actual numbered address. You just say that the general road or the vicinity. So, but in general, it's better to start just with the general vicinity that you're going on. And so you can see I've used this word here. If I'm going, supposing I wasn't in the Sukhumvit area, and I might have been in Lat Pao or I was in the Sathorn area and I wanted to go towards Sukhumvit, I could just say Pai Thao Sukhumvit. And so this word Tao is really good. What does Tao mean? Well, if you're Chinese, you would know this word, Tiao. Okay, so, and it means like a strip. Okay, like that, like noodles, kway tiao. That's where you get that same tiao from Tao. So Tao literally means a strip like this. So if you picture a map, say here's a map, and then there's maybe the Sukhumvit area, here's the Sathorn area, and here's the Bang Na area here. So Tao would picture tearing a strip off the map. It's in this general vicinity is a Tao. Sorry, that's a Tortung there. Tao with a rising tone. Say it with me. Tao, Pai Thao Sukhumvit. Go in the general Sukhumvit area. Pai Thao Sathorn. Go in the general Sathorn. Pai Thao Lat Pao. I'll go in the Lat Pao general area. So some of the basic Tao areas that you would be telling them. Here, I've got them listed for you. Say it with me. Sukhumvit, Sathorn, Lad Pao, Bang Na, Chang. That's not Cheng Vitana. It should be Cheng Watana. That's what you get for typing too fast. Well, let me get back. Where did my book go? ThaiBites. Get in there. Well, I need to go back to my book. Sorry. Gotta love Windows. Okay, insert. I will fix that spelling up for you. Let me just scribble over it. It's probably going to be faster. This should be Watana. That's a Maihanakat up there. Okay, so by Jang Watana. Okay, so say it with me. ไปแถวสุขุมวิทครับไปแถวสาทรได้หรือเปล่าครับไปแถวลาดพร้าวนะครับไปแถวบางนาได้เปล่าพี่ไปแถวแจ้งวัฒนะนะครับ Okay, so the first thing you would get in a taxi when you're not, if they're asking where you're going, you don't give them address, you just say you're going the general vicinity. Now, Thais, I mentioned, if you wouldn't use an address, but you would use landmarks. So as I scroll down here, let me just insert some, I'll bring the screen up for you. So some of the landmarks, for example, now if you're going to immigration, and I've written some of the landmarks here because they actually sound different in Thai to what you would say in English. Now, so if you're going to immigration, you might think by immigration. And if you're speaking to a taxi driver that's used to hearing Falang, okay, they might know immigration, but actually in Thai, immigration comes from the word Truat Muang, Truat Khao Muang. So there's Truat, oh, sorry, Truat, get rid of that, Truat. So Truat Khao Muang, which means to inspect people coming into the country, which is what immigration is. Okay, so Truat Khao Muang, that's Salat Uang. And for my pen isn't reaching out there. NG. So Truat Khao Muang gets in Truat Muang Tamo. So Thais will call immigration Tamo. Okay, so ตมแจ้งวัฒนะ is actually immigration แจ้งวัฒนะ so all Thais would just say ตม because they all know that ตม is at แจ้งวัฒนะ so if you're calling a taxi and you're wanting to go to immigration อ่ะไปตมนะพี่ไปตมได้หรือเปล่าครับ and they'll probably say แจ้งวัฒนะเหรอ you want to go to แจ้งวัฒนะครับ yes okay or and other landmarks by major Ratchayotin. So everybody would know where major Cineplex is Ratchayotin. So even if you had to go somewhere not exactly at major Ratchayotin, you would still just say, by Tao major Ratchayotin Kap. Okay. Or by Sentan Lat Prao. So Central Lat Prao is there at the Hayak, that big intersection at Lat Prao. That's a major landmark. And so that will get you generally to where you're going. Now, a lot of tourists will call this in English MBK. Thais do not call it MBK. And if you say MBK to a taxi driver, okay, if they're used to being around them with Falang, they might know it. But if you're talking to a taxi driver that's not used to Falang, you'd probably want to say by Mabun Krong. Mabun Krong is actually the full word for MBK. Thais wouldn't really say MBK. They say จะไปไหน ไป Mabun Krong. ไปแถว Mabun Krong. I'm going into the general Mabun Krong area if you're not going exactly to Mabun Krong. Or if you're going to a BTS station, จะไปสถานีรถไฟฟ้า and you notice, okay, รถไฟฟ้า is actually a train station, but if you're in the main area where there is the BTS, ไปสถานีรถไฟฟ้า that's what they will take it to mean. So let's just say these once more. ไปตมแจ้งวัฒนะ or ไปแถวตมแจ้งวัฒนะก็ได้ ไปเมเจอร์ราชโยธิน ไปแถวเมเจอร์ราชโยธิน ไปเซ็นทรัลลาดพร้าว ไปแถวเซ็นทรัลลาดพร้าว ไปมาบุญครอง ไปแถวมาบุญครอง ไปขนส่ง ขนส่ง so that's the motor registry where you go to do your license and all of this other stuff. Notice that ขนส่ง sounds nothing like motor registry. If you say motor registry, then it's ขนส่ง which literally means to move stuff. ขนส่ง which is the transport ministry. So ไปขนส่ง and normally they probably think more chit unless you were over the other side of town. You've got the one up there, Sukhumvit. But yeah, ไปขนส่ง to go to the motor registry or ไปสถานีรถไฟฟ้า or ไปแถวสถานีรถไฟฟ้า you're going to the train station. Got it? And then now I'll speak for another about 5 minutes here before we go into questions. Let's just rip through some of these questions. So taxi Thai again, they'll say เลี้ยวซ้าย เลี้ยวขวา you would know those. But how about this? This is if you're wanting to say turn right at the next intersection. เดี๋ยวเลี้ยวซ้ายตรงสามแยกต่อไป so let's break this down เดี๋ยว means in a moment, or it's this thing, it's like a filler word that Thais use. เดี๋ยว just means like just a sec or in a moment. เลี้ยวซ้าย notice their high tones, high tone. เลี้ยวซ้าย or เลี้ยวขวา is a rising tone. เดี๋ยวเลี้ยวซ้าย เดี๋ยวเลี้ยวขวา ตรง notice how I don't use T. T is like this general at preposition that a lot of Falang will use when they're speaking Thai, but Thais in general will either drop the preposition out or use ตรง มากกว่า more than T. So เดี๋ยวเลี้ยวซ้ายตรง at. So this here is at. สามแยก 3 yak is a split, so a sam yak is a T intersection because there's 3 ways to go. So at the next T intersection, turn left or right. เดี๋ยวเลี้ยวซ้ายตรงสามแยกต่อไป If you wanted to say at the the 4 intersection, so the normal intersection, เดี๋ยวเลี้ยวซ้ายตรงสี่แยกต่อไป or there's even a 5 yak, a 5 road intersection, say at Lad Pao. So เดี๋ยวเลี้ยวซ้ายอยู่ตรง5 แยกต่อไป at the 5 road intersection that's coming up, and you can just go up and up depending how many things you've got. So เดี๋ยว but these เดี๋ยว and the ตรง will make it sound much more Thai, have a Thai flavor to it. Now let's have a look at this. So we use ตรง as a at word here, but ตรง also, I want you to think of ตรง as shooting an arrow and it goes in and boom, it sticks in the ground and starts quivering. So picture this arrow, boom, bang, and it's sticking and it's quivering, shaking back and forth. That's trong. So trong can either be the trajectory, straight path of the arrow or the pointing into a spot of the arrow. This is trong. So tong pai li liai. Notice I use this li liai. This means to double whatever comes before it. Tong pai li liai. I saw Luke Cassidy Lorian wrote a great article on this. The mayamok here, which means to double the word there. So you can go into Luke Cassidy Lorian's post and see that and read all about it. I might put a link to it later on. So tong pai รื่อยเรื่อยเรื่อยเรื่อยเรื่อยอีกประมาณ500 เมตร for another อีกประมาณ about 500 เมตร 500 meters ค่อยจอด and then ค่อย means and then. Once all of this is done, koi is and then dot, park or stop. So let's say that together. This is a really rich structural sentence in Thai that will make you sound very Thai. ตรงไปเรื่อยๆอีกประมาณ500 เมตรค่อยจอดตรงไปเรื่อยๆอีกประมาณ500 เมตรค่อยจอดKeep going for about 500 meters, then stop or then park. ตรงไปเรื่อยๆอีกประมาณ500 เมตรค่อยจอด And if you want to say, okay, we're here, stop here. จอดตรงนี้ครับ Notice I use ตรง again. จอดตรงนี้ครับ And then the last words, the top of the soy is called the mouth of the soy, ปากซอย So you'd call it, or หน้าปากซอย So ไปไหนครับ ไปหน้าปากซอย I'll go to the top of the soy. ไปไหนครับ ไปสุดซอย If you're at the top of the soy going home or going to the end of the soy, สุดซอย is the bottom of the soy. So หน้าปากซอย or ปากซอย is the top of the soy. สุดซอย is the bottom of the soy. เข้าไปในซอย go into the soy. So supposing you got to soy 18, you were telling them ไปซอย18, and then they think, what, do I just leave you at the top of the soy? You'd say เข้าไปในซอย, go into the soy. Okay. If you want to get up on the expressway, you would say ขึ้นทางด่วน So many people, they might wish you well and think, oh, I won't take the expressway because it's expensive. But if you want to say, no, get up on the expressway. ขึ้น you've got that ขึ้น. In the Cracking Thai Fundamentals, we talk about vector words. ขึ้น is one of those words. ขึ้นทางด่วน And then an interesting one, ค่าทางด่วน is the toll fare. So ค่าทางด่วนต้องจ่ายกี่ตอน You can notice I put this here. It's a measure word for the amount of toll booths that you pay a fare to. So ค่าทางด่วน for the toll ต้องจ่ายกี่ตอน how many times will we have to pay? For example, if you're going from Sukhumvit to the airport, you'll probably have to pay 2 ตอน or 2 tolls worth of expressway fees. So that's you'll pay 2 ตอน of ค่าทางด่วน So if you're asking them, how many times will I need to pay for the expressway on this trip? ค่าทางด่วนต้องจ่ายกี่ตอน And they'll probably tell you how many ตอน and how much each one is. So you prepare that money. Okay, so now let's get back. I think that's enough for the lesson at the moment. We've prepared some more. We'll see how we go with the questions. Before I get into the questions, I'm just going to come back here now. I would ask you, could you please have a look right now? We should be showing on the side there. At J-Cademy, we have put together this fantastic travel pack. So if you're wanting the full experience of J-Cademy and Glossiker and everything together, we've put the entire pack together at a really great price. But some people are thinking, oh, but I'm just here for a week, or I've just come, or I'm not sure whether this is actually what I need. Well, we've got the thing for you. Have a look at what we've got up here. We've got the Thai travel combo, which is basically cracking Thai fundamentals, some modules from that. So you've got preparing to crack the fundamentals, everything you need to prepare your mind, your body, environment for coming to Thailand and getting used to the language and the culture. You've got Glossikers, full Thai Fluency 1, the Glossica Space Repetition, you've got Glossica Mass Sentences in there, and all of these Thai bikes that I picked out to do with Thai culture, Thai language, and being able to hit the ground, like stuff like we're doing today, Taxi Thai, going into all of these things. It's just really, really good pack for anybody, even people, not just tourists, but people who've been here for a while. And if you use the code for today's webinar, webinar 0205, that's webinar 0205, you can get that for $40. That's normally $69, but $40 you get Cracking Thai Fundamentals modules, you get Glossica Thai Fluency 1, GSR and GMS, and the ThaiBites, the selected ThaiBites in there. That's awesome. So, but you can only get it until midnight tonight. So right now, just click on it now, click in it, and you can buy it while we're doing this website. But you're only going to get it at $40 until midnight, and then it's going to go back up to 69 bucks. So get in there now. I leave it there so you can click. And right now, I see a lot of people are jumping in and they're asking both questions, and they are they're putting questions in the comment section too. Could I ask you please ask the questions in the questions section? We have a lot of questions come in together already, but we've got our great help, Peter. Peter, come and show your face. Hi. Peter, well, there's Peter.
Hi, guys.
Okay, so Peter is our tech advice. If you've got any questions or you need to send a message through, send it through to Peter in the comments there, and he'll shoot it through. Let me get some water before the questions. And by the way, go in, click. Don't forget to click on the package that you've got there up in the corner. Okay, so first question, Ken. What should one say when the taxi driver is taking me the long way to a destination? So if the taxi driver has started to go the way around, okay, so there's two ways I would nip this in the bud, or the two ways to deal with it. First of all is nipping it in the bud. So supposing one way would be to go on Wipawadi, or the other way would be to go on Rama 9. When I get in the car, I would probably establish, พี่คิดว่าไปทางวิภาดีกว่าไปทางวิภาดีกว่า Let me break that down for you on the screen. This is very good taxi language, or vocab that you can use. So I'll just add a page here. I'll just get my pen working. Okay, so you would say by common tone ทาง so by, and then that's a ทาง it's a aspirated to ngor, and it's a long sala. Okay, ไปทาง that means to go in the direction or the way of. Okay, so this is the first way that you can get them to go the way you need them to go before you even go. You say ไปทางวิภาดีกว่า. So again, วิภา from Wipawadi. Sometimes you'll hear certain roads abbreviated. So ไปทางวิภาดีกว่าไปทางรัชโยธินดีกว่าไปทางอโศกดีกว่า. So the final word again, ดีกว่า at the end.ดีกว่า. Okay. ดีกว่า. ดีกว่า means it's better. So basically you're saying better. So you go this way, better. Is a direct translation, but that's literally what it means. But it's saying, I think it'd be better if you take this route. Okay, ไปทางวิภาวดีดีกว่าไปทางรัชโยธินดีกว่าขึ้นทางด่วนดีกว่า It's better to go on the expressway. Now, if you wanted to ease into that, you could say ถ้าไปทางอโศกรถติดหรือเปล่าถ้าไปทางอโศกรถติดหรือเปล่า Maybe if I can type it. it will be faster. So ถ้าไปทางอโศกรถติดหรือเปล่า I'll change the font here. Now let me make sure that I've got, hopefully this will work. So okay, so ถ้าไปทาง and then we've got whatever it is you're going รถติดหรือเปล่า Okay, so if I go in the direction, or if I take X route, do you think it will be dead, or there will be a lot of traffic? Let me write it in English for you. So if ถ้าไปทาง with a, and that's a long R. So if we go X route, and then this sentence here, รถ is a car, so รถติด ติด means to be stuck, so that means traffic. รถติด รถติดหรือเปล่า หรือเปล่า or not. So that's the tag for a question, or not. So if we go such and such a way, do you think it will be bad traffic? Bad traffic. Okay, let's look at this structure. ถ้าไปทางอโศกรถติดหรือเปล่าครับ ถ้าไปทางรัชโยธินรถติดหรือเปล่าครับ So that's putting it into their ballpark, but you're actually planting the thought in. If they've started to take a route, which is what the question was, that isn't the route you're going, you can just drop it off and you say, พี่ครับ excuse me พี่ไปทางอโศกไม่ดีกว่าหรอ Don't you think it would be better to take the Asok route, for example? ไม่ดีกว่าหรอ ไม่ดีกว่าหรอ So let me write that. I'll put another page up here. So byไม่ดีกว่าหรอ See that particle that we used last week? If you haven't seen the particle ones from last week, go and have a look after this. So by, that's a P, by ไม่ดีกว่า low tone หรอ or เหรอ with a rising tone, long vowel. So ไปทางอโศกไม่ดีกว่าหรอ Don't you think it would be better to take the Asok route? ไปรัชโยธินไม่ดีกว่าหรอ And I'll write this up top. Let me just put it into English. Yes. So that's like saying, don't you think it would be better to take the route? Question mark. Okay. And that would work. Only one thing, you might have to be careful that they don't get angry if you're trying to tell them how to drive. And this is always something, because one, this is Thailand. You never know whether they have a weapon in there. Many have weapons, many have short tempers, and there are some horrible things that have happened to both Thais and non-Thais when they got taxi drivers upset. So we can come back here. So just be careful when you're telling a taxi how to go, and that's why I'm saying it's better to start off on that right foot, create the best image you can as you're starting, and then establish the route you want to go before they do it. Okay, what's the name for the elevated highway in Bangkok? Yeah, you just call anything like that Thang Duan. So you would kun tang duan. You remember from Cracking Thai Fundamentals, when we have our kun and long, we have a whole module thinking meanings going into how to use these words. Kun tang duan, you would remember that. That's actually in there in one of the exercises. If not, you can go in and check it out. Actually, let me take this one down. If you want to go through and use, because I have some of the modules open there for you to practice and go in. So I will, I'm just going to put this up for you at the moment. Have a look on the sidebar right now, and you will see this CTF ThaiBites Glossica package, and you'll see that thinking and meanings one there with the kuns and long. So you can go in and check out if you have that package, and you can check this out as well. But yeah, kun tang duan. And if you're on the tang duan and you're coming down, you would say, Long tongนี้ครับ Long tongไหนครับ Where do you want to long, get down? Long tong Sukhumvitครับ I would like to get down from the Tang Duan at Sukhumvit. Okay, so these kun and long work intimately with the word Tang Duan. Tang Duan. Tang Duan is the expressway. Great. Let's have a look at some more questions. Is it rude to eat or drink soft drinks in a taxi? If you go and you take Uber, which is fantastic, because when you order Uber, you don't even need to negotiate the price. You're just there and it takes it off your credit card. They have bottles of water for you. If you're there and you're just drinking water, it's okay. If you're there in a cab and you're opening up and it's psst and it's spraying over and you're getting the cab dirty, some cab drivers take a lot of pride in their cabs, and they might not like you doing that and eating in the car as well. And sometimes you see those signs in the taxis saying no food, no drinks, and these. Some are okay about it. Water might be okay. Sometimes I'll have a bottle of like tea from 7-Eleven, iced tea, non-sugared, of course, and maybe I'll drink that if it's really hot. But if you're opening a soft drink and psst, and it's in a can and it could spill, maybe they'll get angry. They don't want ants in their car. So just be thoughtful as you're doing that. And can I just say though, on the BTS, do not drink, do not eat on the BTS. People really take offense to that because they've got signs up all over the place and you just don't do it. I see some tourists often come in. There's another question here. Taxis along sois near hotels won't use the meter and high fares. Better to go on a main road such as like say in Sukhumvit. Yes, if you drive up Sukhumvit, and actually this is a good way to segue into what I've prepared for you. Let me show you something here. I'll share my screen. Clicking in here, I have prepared something for just such a question. Have a look at this map here. I'm going to turn my pen on and I'll use red. Okay, supposing this is, I'll just highlight, this is Sukhumvit Soi 11. And I'll just draw down here, all the way down Sukhumvit Soi 11. Now, all the way down this soi, you have hotels scattered all down here, and it's a very touristy soi. You will see taxis lined up all the way there. Word has it that they actually have to pay for their queue, for the spot in their queue. They have to pay somebody, heaven forbid who those people might be, but so they have to probably pay somebody to be able to park their cars there. And so and they wait for the tourists that don't know anything about here, the ones that are fresh off the boat. So if you take any cab that is sitting and parked outside, and especially if they're talking to the locals, you can know that they're regulars there, they will not turn their meters on. Now I see at Paragon, just last week, they've started naming and shaming taxi drivers that don't turn their meters on. And each month they'll put up a whole list of registration numbers and names of taxi drivers that don't do it. But if you do that and you ask these, you just expect that these guys will not turn the meter on, and they'll probably give you, if you want to go just from say Sukhumvit 11 to here, they'll say 200 baht or 100 baht. That's just crazy. So you'll wait for a cab that's maybe come out of here and is driving. Now, sometimes these cabs won't even let those cabs stop. So you're saying, should I come out onto the main road and call a taxi? Yeah, and I do it. Supposing I was here, it's worth me walking out here and calling a cab on the main road than trying to get into a fight with a taxi here that won't turn the meter on anyway. So yeah, let me just tell you with motorcycle taxis too. So supposing the prices for motorcycle taxis, and often if you're in the sois, this is how the fares will go. If you're taking a motorcycle taxi, and they'll have the sign up and it's normally in Thai, but if you're a local, say from here to here, the general price is about 10, let me write here, sorry, 10, that's a very ugly looking 10 to 15 baht. And I'll write baht in Thai. Okay, 10 to 15 baht would be within the soy. Supposing you wanted to, let me use another color here. Supposing I wanted to get here to, say, Terminal 21. And so they would take this route. They would come up and they'd go here, bang, they'd go up in this soy, and they'd come around and come around here, or even to there, or anywhere here that isn't out on the main road yet. You would be looking at probably around 20 to 30 baht. Okay? As soon as they get onto this main road and they need to cross across the road or go somewhere, you want to add 20 baht. Okay? Now, and if they start to come past some of these main intersections, so for example, Thonon Witiyu or Plerntit down here, you would add another 20. And so maybe, and so I've actually prepared these for you here. And this goes right across Bangkok. It's probably about this. So basically, this is my standard. Now, it'll change, but when Thais are thinking about prices, if you're within the soy but not out on a main road, you're looking at about this is on motorcycles. Okay, so I'll call this motorcycle taxis, which can be quite dangerous, but if you're willing to take them, and Thais do, motorcycle cabs, 1 to 500 meters, you're probably looking at about 10 to 15 baht within the soy. 500 meters to about 1.5 kilometers, you're looking probably 20 to 40 baht, as long as you haven't gone out onto the main road. 1.5 kilometers to 3 kilometers, and if you're saying, how could you do that without getting on a main road? Well, you can. Have a look at this. All the way down, you can get all the way from here through to Samiti Wet Hospital here without getting on the main road, but you've still crossed these ones here. So you could still be in the vicinity of not paying that extra 20 baht, but it'd probably cost you about still 100 baht. 1.5 to 3 kilometers, so all the way from Soy 11 to Samiti Wet Hospital is about 100 baht. As soon as you go onto the main road, add 20 baht, and if you've gone over main intersections, keep adding 20 bahts. So if I come back to this map here, and if I was going from here and I wanted to come out, I'll change the color to another color here. So let me change this to green. So supposing I came out here and I went down here and I came out and I wanted to go all the way down to here on Petbury, or to this hospital down here. Anything around here, you're looking about 100 to 130 baht. So Petbury would probably be that boundary there in a Thai's subconscious mind that would say, okay, we got to up the ante again in the price and give them an extra bit. And just remember, if it's bad traffic, we'll throw in another 30 baht, 50 baht, depending how bad the traffic is. They have to drive back as well. So that is kind of motorcycle subconscious thinking that goes on, the cognitive processes that go on when you're going there. And I've got a trick here for you. If you don't know the charge, say I got onto the bike here, around here, and I said, can you take me to Terminal 21? And so the bike's taken me down here, all this route, and I get off, but I actually didn't realize what the price was. You can use this trick and not get ripped off, but just by saying, "Thau lai krap." If you say "Thau lai krap," oh, this guy doesn't know the price, and I can tell him anything I want and I'll have to pay for it. So once you get there, use this trick. Say it with me. Bang loi mi thon pa khap. Sorry. Bang loi mi thon me khap, or bang loi mi thon hรือเปล่าครับ? แบงค์ร้อยมีทอนหรือเปล่าครับแบงค์ร้อยมีทอนหรือเปล่าครับ so bank means a banknote so แบงค์ร้อย for 100 do you have change ทอน means to give change that you will often hear ตังทอน so ตัง from สตังตังทอนตังไม่มีตัง I don't have any money ตัง is often used instead of เงิน money so ตังทอน and that's all so ตังทอน is change so แบ่งร้อยมีทอนป่ะครับแบ่งร้อยมีทอนไหมครับ do you have change for 100 and they think well, this guy must know what the price is because it's less than 100 so I may as well just give them the change that I give to a Thai because they probably know the price this is a really good trick and I use it everywhere and I haven't been ripped off yet using it so แบ่งร้อยมีทอนเปล่าครับ but you just have to know that you're going to be going to an area that it's going to be under 100 baht using pulling out a 500 baht note or a 1,000 baht note they'll know that you're a foreigner because no one pulls out those notes to pay a motorcycle cab and they'll rip you off another way to do it if you're assuming that it's probably around 30 baht but maybe it's 40 maybe it's 20 well I'll just say 30 บาทใช่ไหมครับ30 baht ใช่ไหมครับ that was 30 baht wasn't it and they might say and I'm saying it honestly not to rip them off if it's 40 they say อ๋อไม่ใช่ครับ40 บาทครับor it's not it's 40 baht or 20 baht it's 20 baht and actually if you say it like that I even have the motorbike taxis telling me a cheaper price so as long as you speak to them and you smile and you're nice and you say it in a natural way you don't get ripped off it's the ones that just make it waiting to prey on tourists that'll rip you off so there's some really good language hacks in Thai that you can use to not get ripped off don't forget here wow time flies don't forget we have oh by the way I'm going to put 2 up here for anybody interested in Chinese we have launched Chinese woohoo so 如果你想学中文的话 if you want to learn Chinese 我们现在有 Glossica 的课程 we now have Glossica's fantastic Chinese fluency course so I'll just put that up for 2 seconds and I'll leave it up there for 10 more seconds 10 9 8 7 you can click on that link and go and check out the new Glossica course if you loved it for Thai you're going to love it for Chinese so learning a tonal language why not learn more bring the tonal languages on so there you go you can go and check out Glossica there click on that I see people have clicked on it if not you can just go to jacademy.com and see that but the one that I was showing you and you will get these kind of things is the Thai travel combo so the travel combo it has Glossica it has cracking Thai fundamentals modules it has ThaiBites modules in there and I'm going to leave that up there and we've got for $40 only for people watching this webinar if you put webinar 0205 in you can get it so go in buy it now because it's only going to be up for a couple of more hours and it's gone so you may as well click it now while you can and you're going to get all of that for 40 bucks that's awesome okay so let me go into the question here I've got so many questions middle-aged taxi drivers are a better bet for getting the fare, a good fare, true or not? Yeah, it depends. Middle-aged taxi drivers that aren't permanently parked outside of hotels. Yeah, but some young ones are actually really good. You can, you can just look at the eyes of some taxi drivers and think, nah, I'm not going to take that cab. Other cabs, you can just take a smell of the cab. Nah, no, I'm not going to take that cab. Look at them. Look at how well they're dressed, what they're wearing. But, you know, it's a mixed bag out there. About 15 years ago, taxis were very different and they weren't deregulated and there were a lot less cabs. But you'd get in and they'd be great and you'd sit and they'd start driving and you wouldn't even tell them where you're going until you started driving. Now it's become very different. Okay, question. Is Khun Sapan accepted as the same as Khun Thang Duan? Yeah, so Khun We have this word kun. Go into cracking Thai fundamentals, thinking and meanings module, and you get all these these vector words. Kun long pai ma. So yeah, kun sapan, to go up over the bridge. Kun hang duan. Kun lift, go up in the elevator. Kun hong, go up into the room. You get all those in cracking Thai fundamentals, thinking and meanings. But yes, that is an acceptable one. How would you pronounce the Shangri-La Hotel in local style? ไปโรงแรมแสงลีลาครับ or Shangri-La, or just ไปโรงแรมแสงลีลาครับ ไปโรงแรมแสงลีลาครับ. And but if you were going there, they would say, huh? If they gave you that confused word, you would say, แถวแม่น้ำเจ้าพระยา. Remember the word Tao that we used? In the area of แม่น้ำเจ้าพระยา, so around เจ้าพระยา area, or แถวสะพานตากสิน, สะพานตากสิน, around the สะพานตากสิน area, because that's the area that Shangri-La is. So แถวไปโรงแรมแสงลีลาครับ. And even if they're confused of the name Shangri-La, you'd say แถวสะพานตากสิน, and at least they're going to get you in a stone's throw vicinity of the Shangri-La Hotel. Is there a telephone number to call a cab? People don't really use telephone numbers to call cabs anymore, but you've got Grab Taxi, Easy Taxi, and all these ones, or of course Uber to get it. Uber don't sponsor me, but since Uber have come on, they've been a godsend, because you got them, you got the GPS, they're clean, you can rate them, they rate you, and they come and take you to your destination. You don't need to negotiate a fare, it just deducts it off, and you just know how much you're paying. So, you know, I use Uber. There's a lot of apps you can use that people are using now. You see some numbers, but I don't know them offhand. You could Google them though. I'll have a look for you. How do you say on the telephone that I need a taxi at such and such an address? Again, if you, first thing you would tell the cab rank, if you're talking to them, you would say, ผมอยู่สุขุมวิทซอย11ครับ อยากไปแถว Emporium. I'm in Sukhumvit 11. I want to go to the Emporium area. And they would send a cab out there. And then they'd probably say,ตึกไหน? What building? And you tell the name of theตึก. So if you're at the Aloft Hotel, you'd say โรงแรม Aloft, the Aloft Hotel. If you gave them an actual number, many people get confused. Now, if it was a house address, yeah, then you would give them a number. But even then it'd be confusing. You'd probably want to say it's 2 doors down from such and such hotel, or some other kind of landmark, rather than just giving a number, because you give a number and people get confused. We got about 5 minutes left. Don't forget, go in there. I see people are coming in and looking at that the webinar code 0205, and wow, we've got people buying it. $40, you've only got until midnight, but actually click on it now, go through, have it at least up on your browser, because once that webinar code goes, webinar 0205, it's going to go back up to $69 for that travel combo. You got Glossica, you got Cracking Thai Fundamentals modules, and you got ThaiBites modules in there. Get it now. Another question. In case a taxi driver is from Isan, what are some good Isan words to use? Okay, be very careful, I would say first. If a taxi driver is not from Isan and you start speaking Isan to them, they could get offended. And it has happened, so make sure that they are first. Khoi si pai. I'm going to both. Si pai sai, where are you going? Khoi mo hu. I don't know. Kit wa si pai sai di. Where do you think I should go? I don't know. I should do a ThaiBite on Isan. Actually, if you would like that, let's try this. Let me ask a poll question. What topic would you like ThaiBites live to cover in the future? And I will put here Isan, and I'll start a poll. Oh, let me put, I need 2 answers. So Isan, and I will put, I'm doing also Northern Thai. Okay, there we go. So we've got 5 minutes left. See how many we can get up there in the poll. Put some topics that you want me to cover there. I'll cover some Isan words in another Isan webinar for you, I think. Do taxi drivers try to charge more at night in Bangkok? Okay, yes. It depends where you are. If you're outside of the main touristy areas, if you're outside of Sukhumvit areas and the club areas, taxi drivers will just keep the meter on. But if you're in a touristy area, and especially around clubs or international places, they will ask you where you want to go, and then normally they'll say Loi Baht or whatever, and you'll say no, and they will drive off. They will be expecting you know, to not use the meter, and they'll ask you. But if you're out of those areas, no, it's expected that you would use the meter. And I tell you what, sometimes just to not have the trouble, yeah, you give them 100 baht. But me, as stubborn as I am, I will wait a half hour until I get a metered cab. And even if their fare's 35 baht, I'll give them 100 baht. But just for the fact that they turn the meter on, I have no issue giving 100 baht. But I just don't like them trying to rip me off. But that's just me. Let's look at 2 last questions. How do I say keep the change? Awesome. Okay, this is a perfect one, and this can be used anywhere. In 7-Eleven, they'd think you're really weird if you said keep the change. They need to be in their block. But keep the change. How do you say that? Let me just type it here. And this, I think, will be our last one. So keep the change. And this is a really great, easy saying to use, and you can use it everywhere. Let me just turn my Thai keyboard on. ไม่ต้องทอนครับ. Say it with me as I type. So I just want to increase my font size here. Make it bigger for you to see. Okay. So keep the change. ไม่ต้องทอนครับ. ไม่ต้องทอนครับ. Let me write it down here in writing. In phonetics, I'll put it here, get my pen on. So, ไม่ falling tone, ต้อง falling tone, ทอน common tone, long vowel, ครับ if you're a guy, ค่ะ if you're a girl. So, ไม่ต้องทอนครับ. So there's no need to give change. Ton means to give change, and again, tang ton, which we used earlier, is your change. So ไม่ต้องทอนครับ. There's no need to give me the change, which means keep the change. ไม่ต้องทอนครับ. And if you wanted to say, do you have any change? Where's the change? อ้าว มีตังทอนหรือเปล่าครับ? Do you have change for me? All right, look at that. We've got 1 minute wrapping up coming here. I've just seen we're just giving the wrap up time. So I've got to get back into my taxi, I think, before we go, woo, I'm in my cab. And we're going to be driving off. Thank you to everybody that has joined in. Wow, look at this. We've got tons of people in here today. Don't forget the ThaiBites, the Thai travel combo we've got in there. We've got Glossica Fluency, and that's actually part of that. We've got Chinese in here now. We've even got finance courses and all these other courses coming in. You'll see them coming in over the coming weeks. I've got to drive off now, so I'm going to be getting my cab. เพราะว่าตอนนี้มันถึงเวลาต้องไปแล้วนะครับ. I'll see you next week. Actually, let me just put this up for you, and I'll leave it up for a little bit more. We've got our Khmer, or I don't think I have it in there. But if you go in for next week, you will see the Khmer language hacks, which are going to just exponentially increase your Thai. I've got some really cool secrets for you, how to put Khmer hacks in your Thai, and your vocabulary is just going to go like this. Really fun, and actually bring your Thai friends in because they're going to learn a lot too. It's time for me to drive off now. ถึงเวลาต้องไปแล้วนะครับ. I'm Stuart J. Raj. I'll see you next week for ThaiBites Live live webinar on next Saturday, the 9th of May, 2015, 5 o'clock to 6 p.m. Bangkok time. That's UTC +7. Don't forget to register now. You can go in there. I'll put the link below this, and I'll see you next week. I'm Stuart J. Raj, ThaiBites Live. Sawadee krap.